Good morning. Welcome to Thursday. It is November the 21st, 2024. I'm John Zibney, the MNC News Center. News getting started now with our top local stories. We're expecting to see even more snow fly, especially this afternoon. WSBT meteorologist Abby Wepler.
We are looking on average about 1 to 2 inches of slushy accumulate the quickest in the afternoon, mainly on elevated surfaces. But if you get a burst of snow, that's where it could stick briefly to the road. It could bring a few slick spots.
The temperatures will warm back up above freezing as we head into this evening. That'll make the snow transition back to rain, and then tomorrow showers are likely. Will hit the mid-40s for daytime highs. It is snowing outside right now. Most roads just wet. They'll watch it on bridges, overpasses, and the bypass. We're learning more information about the stabbing Monday of a man in the 1200 block of Main Street in Elkhart. 26-year-old Charles Bell Jr. was arrested after the 49-year-old victim told police that Bell, whom the victim knew, stabbed him and took his backpack. Bell was arrested shortly afterward in the 1300 block of Eden Street and booked on charges of robbery with serious bodily injury, aggravated battery, and resisting. His bond is set at $150,000. And a Mexican citizen has been sentenced in U.S. District Court in South Bend to 16 months in prison for illegal re-entry into the U.S.
According to the documents in the case, 44-year-old Jose de Jesus Rosales Gamez illegally entered or tried to enter the United States and was removed 4 times from the mid-1990s to 2016. Rosales Gamez yet again illegally returned to the United States in 2016 or 2017 following 2 prior felony convictions. He ended up pleading guilty to illegal re-entry of a deported alien. Morgan Hopkins, MNC News.
An Elkhart man was killed in a crash on State Road 13 north of the toll road. This happened around 4:30 yesterday morning. Police say a 20-year-old man from Centerville, Michigan was traveling north on 13 in a GMC Sierra pickup, crossed the center line and collided head-on with another car. The driver of the car that was struck, 43-year-old Jose Rosales Munoz, was pronounced dead at the scene. The Centerville man was taken to Goshen Hospital with chest pain. 2 women from St. Joseph County were arrested after a traffic stop in Miami County.
Indiana State Police pulled over a Jeep Grand Cherokee Saturday night driven by 28-year-old Jennifer Lee Oblinger when the officer noticed indicators that criminal activity may have been afoot. A police canine helped sniff out meth, syringes, and a controlled substance inside the vehicle. Oblinger was arrested along with her passenger, 28-year-old Ashley Beatty, who had an active felony warrant out of Elkhart County. Both were booked at the Miami County Jail. Derek Decker, MNC News.
A bill establishing a new deadline for you to fill out the FAFSA paperwork for financial aid for college was written by Indiana Congresswoman Erin Houchin.
I'm especially frustrated considering the Department of Education has had 3 years to simplify the FAFSA as Congress has dictated.
Well, the bill was approved in the House, now needs to be passed by the Senate before the new Congress convenes on January 3rd. And if those steps are not accomplished by then, the bill would have to be reintroduced and then passed by the new Congress. Dozens of people will lose their jobs with the shutdown of the manufacturing side of Dairy Farmers of America. The company is idling the dairy production plant on 9th Street in Goshen, though the warehouse portion of that plant will stay open and be used for technical work. Company leaders say the shutdown's based on potential long-term shifts in the milk production and product demands. A total of 40 workers are expected to lose their jobs at the start of the new year. And there's a bill in front of Michigan lawmakers that aims to create a 15-week paid family and medical leave program. Advocate Daniel Atkinson says the November 5th election clearly demonstrated that people's voices were being heard.
We know that in this last election, people voted with their financial restraints and interests at heart. We know that this policy is overwhelmingly popular because it's overwhelmingly needed.
According to a report from Michigan's Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, just over 70% of Michiganders are in favor of the bill. 20% say they're not on board. 3 people, including a child, were hurt in a crash that happened on the west side of South Bend. Happened around 10 o'clock on Monday morning in the 1000 block of Mayflower. Investigators say a Jeep crossed the center line, then struck a Chrysler sedan. All 3 victims were alert and conscious when the first responders got there. They all suffered non-life-threatening injuries. A Middlebury man's facing felony charges from a crash that left a person severely injured.
The crash happened earlier this year when 41-year-old Demiris Williams was driving a Jeep on County Road 18 and reportedly went off the north side of the road, struck a mailbox, then a tree, and then rolled over. He and his passenger were taken to the hospital with injuries. His passenger suffered several orthopedic injuries, including a nasal septum fracture, rib fractures, neck fracture, and more. According to the Goshen News, Williams told police that they were headed home and that he fell asleep at the wheel. However, he tested positive for THC after marijuana was found in his vehicle. His trial is scheduled for April 7th. Alyssa Foster, MNC News.
Elkhart police are still investigating a break-in that happened at Lockmondy Motors. They arrived to the dealership on Napanee Street early Monday morning and found a broken window on the service door on the side of the building. Officers did a sweep of the building but did not find anybody inside. They say they found items in disarray, though it's not yet been said whether anything was actually missing. Now 95.3 MNC watching the economy. The unemployment rates in both Elkhart and St. Joseph County inched downward last month. In Elkhart County, it dropped 0.4% to 4.2%. In St. Joseph County, it dropped 0.3% to 4.5%. The statewide rate is at 4.4%. Both counties' rates are higher compared to October of last year. And the Indiana Chamber of Commerce wants lawmakers to consider changing the state's property tax structure.
They would like lawmakers in the upcoming session to make some changes to the state's current structure. Research done by the Chamber of Commerce looked at the potential impact of revisions to the state's local and state tax systems would have on revenue. The Chamber also presented policymakers with information they believe would impact the state's economic growth.
That's Terry D. reporting.
Snow showers are falling today. Most of the snow showers will be light. We could see some heavier bursts of snow right in the middle of the day. A couple of inches of accumulation on elevated surfaces possible. Most of roads will stay just wet. But be on the lookout for a couple of slick spots. We'll top out at 37, down to 32 tonight, and 46 with lake effect rain showers for tomorrow. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
Breaking news can happen at any time, day or night. Get first word by signing up for breaking news text alerts from MNC. Text the word news to 574-2595, 95.3. Up next, top trending stories. We'll also check out your 5-day forecast. MNC News Time, 5:13.
Podcasts by Federated Media.